In this video, we shall consider quick mental math techniques to squaring numbers. Let us get to work. We are looking at 40 squared. Now, for you to square a number that ends with 0, two things will be considered. First is the non-zero digit, and the second is the 0. Now, the non-zero digit, what do you do to it? You square it. Square the non-zero digit, and the number of zeros given to you will be doubled. Right. Now, let's consider this question. The non-zero digit here is 4, so we are going to square it. And then, the number of zero that is given to us here is 1, so we are going to double it and it will give us 2 zeros. So we append the 2 zeros, just like this. And so the next is for us to square 4. And for you to square a number, it's just like you multiplying the number with itself. So 4 squared means 4 multiplied by itself, and that is 4 times 4, which gives us 16. And append your 2 zeros. And so 40 squared is 1600. Let's look at another example. 200 squared. Identify the non-zero number, which is 2, square it, and then the number of zeros given to you will be doubled. And right here we have 2 zeros. And when you double 2 zeros, it gives us 4 zeros. So append your 4 zeros this way. Okay, 2 squared means 2 times 2, which gives us 4. And so you bring down your 4 zeros, you append it to it. And so 200 squared gives us 40,000. Let's look at another example. 3,000 squared. So identify the non-zero digit, which is 3. And how many number of zeros do you have? You have 3. So you are going to double that, and that will give you what? 6 zeros. So let's go on. You square the non-zero digit, which is 3 squared, and then you double the number of zeros. That gives us 6 zeros. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which gives us 9, and then you append your zeros. Okay, so this gives us 9 million. So 300 squared, 3,000 squared rather, gives us 9 million. So let's look at another example. 20,000 squared. Wow, that is big. So identify the non-zero digit, which is 2, square it, and the number of zeros you double. So how many zeros do we have here? We have 4 zeros. So let's double the number of zeros. That will give us 8 zeros. So append 8 zeros to it. And so 2 squared gives us 4, and then bring back your zeros. And this gives us 400 million. So this is how to go about squaring numbers that end with zeros. Okay, so let's move on to another technique that has to do with numbers ending with 5. How do you square a number that ends with 5? Here there's a clear difference in doing that. So the first is for you to identify the number in the tens place. Okay, so look at this. This is 15 squared. So let's identify the number in the tens place. That will be 1. So what do you do to the number in the tens place? You are going to multiply it with the number that succeeds it. What do I mean by that? The number that is after it. And what is the number that is after 1? That is 2. The number that is after 3, that will be 4. Okay. Now, so here we come back to 1. What is the number that is after 1? Okay, that is 2. And so you multiply it by 1. So that will be 1 times 2. Okay, and that gives us 2. Then the next is the number in the digit place, in the unit place, which is 5. And then you square it. That will be 5 times 5, which is 25. Now, what is the next thing to do? The two answers that you have here, just bring them together, combine them without a sign, and that will give you 225. So it means that 15 squared is 225. Alright, so let's look at another example. 25 squared. Remember, the first is to identify the number in the tens place. That is 2. What do you do to 2? Multiply it by the number that succeeds it, or the number that is after it. And what is the number that is after 2? That is 3. And that will be 2 times 3, which is 6. So the next is the number in the unit place, which is 5. You square it, that is 5 times 5, and that is 25. And so the two answers you have, bring them together, that gives you 625. And so 25 squared is 625. Next, 35 squared. I think you should pause the video and try this and check whether you get it or not. Okay, so 35 squared, first check the number that is in the tens place, which is 3. Okay, you multiply it by the number that succeeds it, or the number that is after it. Okay, that will be 3 times what number succeeds this, that is 4. 3 times 4, and that is 12. The next is the number in the unit place, which is 5, and that is 5 times 5, which gives us 25. And so the two answers, bring them together, combine them, and that gives you 1225. And so 35 squared is 1225.